Right there? Is that it? It's four.
We're gonna be real tight.
Yeah, it's gonna have to be tight.
Hey, buddy.
Check.
Let's see, Ronald. Where's Ronald?
Ronaldo. Here we go. There we go.
Let's see. So let's see. What is this? It.
Are we going to be watching ourselves?
It's gonna be easier to see.
That's true.
Oh no, what's happening?
Oh, what'd you do?
Who's doing this?
Hey, who that?
Not me.
I didn't do it.
It's Ronnie.
It wasn't me.
I don't know what I'm looking for here. Well,
G the good.
yeah.
The good.
You're going too fast.
Is there 3 O's?
There it is.
I found it. We're live now.
Hi.
Oh,
Okay.
hey.
All right.
And you get to watch me dance.
Give me what you're
Oh, here. Let's. What's that? We're live now.
We're live.
Yeah, we gotta turn the volume down.
Look at our picture. Good morning.
Oh, good morning. There we go. That's off.
Maybe an old man.
There we go. There you go.
Why is it so shaky? We got the twitches going on. Twitch.
I don't know. Why is it shaky?
Burr.
That's a great question. I need to drink for this. If we're gonna do a podcast.
See, look at my twitchy head. Give it a second.
You gotta be like cops and nerds. You all have different brains.
Then I clap my hands, crack my fingers. Then I just bob my head. back
Hopefully,
and
it
forth.
sound good. Yeah, can you check it on your?
How you doing?
Yeah.
Good. Glad to hear it.
Glad to be here.
Glad to be here.
Glad you're here.
This is gonna be so awkward. I'm gonna be distracted by the delay. Just a little
I
bit.
feel like we shouldn't watch that.
You should go watch Tim Paul and you can give him a review.
Is he on there?
Yeah, he's streaming right now.
Hey Tim. I know you can't hear us because
He's
switching. So are you doing this without pants tonight, or are we doing this with pants? Because I mean,
Wait. This is the
All I
first
need
time
is
we've
a
ever
shirt.
first ever
I
did
can
this
see
with
right
fans.
here. All I got is a shirt going on. We're doing it live. No pants.
It's the first time you ever wore pants while doing it, so you know. There's always ads.
Watch you. 4 viewers. We got 4, baby. Yep.
We're actually live.
We're live right now. Come on, Mel. Pull up a chair.
You take Patrick's spot.
Yeah. You can pretend to be Patrick, and Eric can pretend to be Ronnie. You're both kind of, family for each one, so it's like the real thing.
Arctic Warlocks is on.
Yeah.
What's up,
Hello,
dude?
chat? Welcome to the chat room, Arctic Warlock.
We're still kind of setting up at the moment, so hang tight.
Yeah, I drove.
Mark still doesn't know what to do with his hands.
He's still like, hello.
You're gonna see that in about 5 seconds.
4, 3, 2, 1. It's the hand show. Wow. This is like my children last week
It's
found
weird.
themselves in the security camera of the grocery store in our city, and they were just like, "Oh, whoa, look at me, Dad!" All the adults are just staring at them. Party mode. Oh, that's the secret. Bring the cup.
Do you want a drink?
I want.
You want one of the root beers? No, can you go with root beer? Which one?
Thanks,
do you want?
Mel.
Sarsaparilla or the other?
The other one.
The other
Do
one.
the other one.
There's one that says sarsaparilla at the top,
I
and
already
one
did
that
the
doesn't.
sarsaparilla. I want to
But
do the.
there's a main root, and then there's like a weird different one. Grab the other one.
What's up? Yeah, Corey.
On the
Ouch is in
one
the
of them
house.
say main room.
Corey Smith. Yes. AKA Corey Smith is here.
Oh,
Arctic
what's
says-
up,
Arctic
guys?
says he has his kids watching.
Arctic Smith.
Ooh, got the kids watching on the TV with me on a laptop. Hey, the kids are watching, Ronnie. They can hear you.
Oh,
Muffs.
darn it. Darn it.
Darn it.
This one?
Yes, that's
Thank you.
the other one.
Let's give it a pass. Thank you very much.
Is it a pop?
Is it? I don't know.
Like
I'm
a
not
man.
sure. Is it? I don't think it
If it's not,
Is there one on
wait,
We're trying it.
No,
We're gonna
no,
use your belly.
no,
I thought you were gonna use your belly button.
He's got it. Yeah,
no, look up.
Honey, you have
Oh, we have a Clark behind us. Newest member.
This is our mascot right here.
one. Man, that is really delayed.
Yes, it's very delayed. It's
Well,
very
that's what's
distracting.
it's actually pretty good.
Thanks.
Yeah, it's actually set up to do that
Yeah.
specifically.
So they can all see it and be like,
Thank you,
does
Eric.
that look good? And then if you cut it out, they don't like it.
This episode of Good Morning Guys is brought to you by Dominion Root Beer,
Do you want me to take them upstairs?
made by a
Oh,
deer.
yeah, that's great.
Oh,
Oh,
hey, it's
brother
Brother Clark. I
You
just
want to
saw
say
you.
hi? I'll drink whatever. Hi, everybody. Say, good morning, my brothers and sisters. He knows that.
All right, come on, buddy. Start, Brian. We're going to Kings Island tomorrow. We have a very busy day.
Hey, R. Oh, okay. Hey,
Hey, does anybody have-
I saw that.
What's that?
Do you have the
Sorry,
theme
Corey, I was
song
late to see
on
you.
your phone or anything?
Oh, yeah.
Shoot, where's my
Video?
phone? I
Yeah,
don't
we
have my
gotta
phone
have-
on me.
We need the sounds.
My phone?
Because if not, I'm gonna make it karaoke.
Can you grab my phone for me, please?
I'm gonna have
Over
Ron
there
start
by-
singing it.
I don't know if shoot, man. I'll just play one of our older podcasts.
Oh, it's very delayed. I just saw Clark have that moment with his mom. So I feel bad for him. Okay.
Here we go.
This episode is sponsored by.
you have to cut all
Yeah, you need to edit all this out, okay?
Yeah,
Make sure you're
right now.
Make sure you blur all the cans and stuff.
that.
Oh, wait, are we recording a podcast version of this?
We might as well just pull the audio from it. You could probably
Can you do
just
that?
pull the audio.
Well, that's stool.
Can you hook up Audacity, like turn on Audacity with this?
Oh yeah, I can pull the audio from this,
Yeah.
and then just add it all in if I wanted to.
I mean, are we going
Like,
to?
if I wanted to.
Okay. Don't want to? We're deciding
Uh,
I feel like that's the vibe.
on the
we're
Good Morning Guys.
How do I find? Let's see, my buddy Scott or my brother Scott.
getting. We're professionals here.
Not Buddy Scott.
my brother. He gave us.
I feel like we're doing a panel. If we were doing a panel, what would we be talking about?
Just shut down my video. Let's try it again.
Shark Tank.
Hit 713. Follow us on Twitch, whoever that guy is. Thank
That's
you.
That's my buddy James.
All right, James.
Woo!
All right.
AKA my
Already
son.
sweating.
You're sweating.
Give me a turn.
Oh, I turned off the vent. Turn it back on. The Brazilian closed the vent. I was very cool.
Oh man, 1,000 degrees in here. Let's start.
I think you're exaggerating a little bit. Just a few degrees.
Let's see. Here it is. Here it is.
Now, when we do the intro, I got to get in hot, right? Good morning.
All right, hold on. Wait. I don't know if this is it or not.
No,
Nope.
that's the transition.
That's the
We'll save that
transition.
for later.
That's the one. That's the one you've never heard. All right.
That's a special one. Because you heard the one you haven't heard.
Shoot, man. Let's try this one.
There it is.
Oh, this is a long version.
That's all right.
Bring it. We got all the time in the world. Good morning, my brothers and sisters. On this, our 41st episode and first live Twitch episode of the Good Morning Guys podcast. Thank you so much for joining us on this fine morning, afternoon, evening, or night. I'm one of your hosts, the Brazilian Mountaineer, Lucas Ham Swisher. With me also to my left. To my
That's
left.
me. It's real.
The judge, the jury, the executioner of fake news. Spoilers, Patrick Novosel.
Spider-Man dies.
Oh, man. Also to my left, the volleyball beast from the east, who can make you laugh in 3 words or less, Ronnie Johantis.
Hi.
And then to my right, to round out the 4 of the GMG quadfecta, the man with music in his heart, Doctor Who on his brain, and Locked Red in his stomach.
You want to rub my stomach?
Rub the belly. Mark Boucher.
I'm in the flesh here. That's amazing.
Yes.
We're all four of us together at the same time in the same room.
That's right.
Awesome.
Uh-huh. If it's your first time joining us, this is the first time we've ever done this. So it's our first time joining us all
It's
together.
our first time joining us.
It's our first time joining
It
us
is. It is.
in the flesh.
This is live, by the way.
It's the first time for all of us. If it's not your first time joining us, well, you've made it this far. You might as well stick with us to the end. Guys, we are here,
We are here.
and it feels so good. Don't you agree?
Does it?
It does.
Oh, it
It's
really
fantastically
does.
good.
Take a drink to that.
Take a
We
drink.
have some audience.
We
over
do.
Here. We have.
And we are not alone.
Sound
are
off
not.
here. Sound off.
Sound off.
No, I think they need
Who's
to
in
come
the
in the
house?
screen.
You gotta come in
Yeah,
here.
they gotta come in and say hello.
Yes.
For sure.
Peek in, say hi. We got that there Shelter,
Don't worry, no comments
Yeah,
from
yeah,
me
yeah.
this time.
Jonathan,
There is Mark
coming at you.
Wombat's Whisper right
We
here.
got-
Yeah.
Max, yeah, Eric. And then last but not least, the Bengal Tiger,
Bingle Man.
Eric.
What's up?
Mega Man 09.
Yes. We got some friends here to join us today, but we just finished a nice little Novacell style barbecue.
We did.
Yes, it was
Yes.
very tasty.
Mhm.
It's very good,
Good.
complete with friends, family,
Quadrupeds.
quadrupeds, little children running around, leaving crumbs everywhere. It was wonderful.
Well, we got a dog there for.
Yeah,
Yeah.
cleanup crew.
I mean, whenever you need a vacuum cleaner, just say Maggie.
He was just like that little robot from your favorite movie, Wall-E. You remember Mop? The little guy that.
No, I burned that from my brain.
I knew you wouldn't acknowledge that. All right, guys, we're going to jump right to it as we usually do. Let's get into what's new news
Oh,
and see what's been going on.
all right.
Get some updates.
Cool.
Since you have the home field advantage, you can either go first, Patrick, share what's been going on the past week, or you can pass it on to someone
Well,
else.
before I go first, I'm going to let the out-of-towner go first. Mark, why don't you go?
I don't know, Ronnie. Before I go, you should go ahead.
I think the out of the country should go first. So Lucas, you go ahead.
To be honest,
I would
I
normally
agree with that. I agree with that. No, sorry, Lucas, you're it.
All right, well, before I go ahead, I'll go ahead.
Before you do that, I think we should just talk about how different it is sitting here staring.
It's very.
It's so
very
weird.
weird.
It's so
When
weird.
Lucas did his update, I was like, oh, right there, like, this is weird.
I don't really know what to do with my hands or my face.
Oh,
Or anything.
no, sir.
What should we do?
What are we doing? Who's going first?
Are we doing a regular show?
You want to get from right to left?
I'm taking it.
Right to
Left
left, sure.
Right to left. All right.
Okay,
So, or left to right. I'm not sure how that works.
Let's do right, then left, then right, then left.
Inverted on the screen.
Up,
Yeah.
up, down, left, right, A, B, A, B, select start.
Yes.
God mode.
All right. Good,
Okay,
Mark.
so I'm
What's
going.
been going on?
So obviously, the past week I was talking about with you guys on the last podcast that I was at my sister's house. We were watching her dog, taking care of the dog, which was, we made it work, but it was kind of insane because of the fact that the two dogs don't like each other, and this is like a giant ball of energy in a husky that is like chasing after my little long-haired Chihuahua.
Oh, you brought Cisco along.
Yeah,
Of
yeah.
course.
Okay.
Yeah, it just made more sense because her house is like a half hour away from our house. So it just would have been more time and gas to be
Sure.
going back and forth. So, but we made it work and it was a good week. And then Friday we had to make a mad dash out of her house, take all her stuff, and then drive 2 hours away because my friend was actually he was getting married that weekend and I was a groomsman. So we had to rush up there. Like I got there.
Saw that picture, by the way. That was
Yeah, you were looking
Yeah.
It was
at
definitely.
sharp dressed man.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Mark. Or Boucher. Mark Boucher.
I like it. I like it shaken, not
Not
stuck.
sure.
But yeah, so we had to go flying up there to make sure we made it to the rehearsal in time. My wife basically made me do a tuck and roll out the car so I
Nice.
could get there on time. And then she
How
was
fast were you going?
she was actually pretty good. She was only like five over the whole time, and we made it.
When you tuck and roll?
Yeah, when you tuck and roll, she's going 5 over.
Yes.
Wow, that hurt.
Well, I can show you the road.
Show us the moves.
No, but made it to the rehearsal. Rehearsal was great. Rehearsal dinner was awesome, and then the wedding was beautiful. They had it in a very, very traditional Baptist church, like old school with pews and stuff like that. It was really nice. Excuse me, had a great time with that.
Drinking pop on the
Yep.
The burps.
Feeling the after effects. But yeah, it was a great time. And then, we had a couple of days to kind of rest and recuperate from all the craziness that happened that week. And then a couple days later, here I am in Cincinnati.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's been a crazy week or so, but it's been fun. And of course, on the gaming front, Apex.
Showdown wants to play.
Surprise, surprise. Okay, Shonda's like, let's go.
All right, guys, go get your good morning on. Bye.
I brought my Vita. You can do a remote play.
Sounds
Play
great.
Apex while we do the rest of the podcast.
Sounds great. But yeah, that's basically my week. So I'm gonna go to my left here.
My week's been pretty cool. It started in Brazil, and now it's here in Cincinnati. So
Yeah, buddy.
Yeah,
it's
man.
been quite a ride. I think
How's the grass here in Ohio?
the grass is so green, and I can feel it. I don't have to just look at it in pictures and Google.
I saw you take your socks off. You're like, I need to get this
Yeah, I gotta
on my feet.
feel
Feel
this
this.
wonderful grass, wonderful carpet on my feet.
I hate you guys.
You'll have that. Yep. But last week, I think I forgot to mention that my son graduated kindergarten.
Nice.
So he's going straight to
Oh,
college.
Congratulations. Yeah.
Going straight to
alright.
college, Doogie Howser in it, and he's good to go. Now my question is, how many people actually understood that reference?
I got it.
Did you get it?
I got it.
John, did you get Doogie Howser?
Did you get any preschool credits?
No.
When that's how you graduated early?
Yeah, he took all his classes were AP.
Yep.
And
He matriculated.
Went straight to it.
Does that mean you eat fast?
Matriculated. Isn't that like an erosion term when the water comes down and matriculates?
No, that's when you
No.
eat fast.
Oh, is that when you eat fast?
I have no idea what you're referring to. So
I don't know anymore.
I don't know.
But once my son graduated kindergarten, I took the time to platinum Minecraft story mode because that was very important in my life.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much. That was a real tough one.
Way to show me up on my platinums this week.
Oh yeah, right.
Spoilers, I got 0.
Uh-oh, look out. I'm the big winner this week with platinums. But after that, it was all packing and getting ready to go to the US of A, which of course I say we, but I really mean my wife did the packing. And I just made sure the kids didn't hurt anyone or hurt themselves. And so we just hung out
Are
and
your
ran
kids
around the
like
house.
violent? To make sure they didn't hurt anyone?
Well, my daughter's kind of violent sometimes. And then my son's very accident prone.
Shoot, she's sleeping over.
Yeah, so watch
I
out.
gotta check
When she
on her.
sleeps, when she's sleeping, she kicks and punches. So.
just gonna have to put padding.
You better
all
warn
over the
Claire.
walls.
Maybe wrap Claire in some bubble wrap. Just like just to
All right,
keep her
well,
protected. It'll
you
be fine.
didn't fit her with one of those Assassin's Creeds
no,
forearm
definitely not.
blades, no?
She has to be of age before she can do that. She has
Of
to be
age when?
double digits.
6 more months.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah, just about 6 more months till she can hold the assassin's blade. But yeah, we packed up and we left Brazil at like 3:00 in the morning. It was the beginning of what could be the worst trip by airplane that we've ever had. Real quick, this just in. Arctic Warlocks, if you pack an extra bag for all that cereal, you will be imported. You know what? Arctic Warlocks, we did because my wife was so smart. She put bags in bags. So we had large bags, and she put mediums bags inside of those and dispatched. So we came with 4 bags. We were leaving with 6 bags and root beer. Liquids are a little tricky, especially carbonated stuff. So I don't do the root beer and stuff. But the cereal, we'll probably be taking back some cereal. But when we got to the airport, I realized I'd forgotten my American driver's license.
No.
And so before I panicked, I got on Google and was like, can I use my international Brazilian, or can I use my Brazilian driver's license? And praise the Lord, hallelujah, I get 3 months to drive around. And
I'd say you're covered.
use
Oh,
the-
nice.
we're good. We're good. So I didn't have to go back and get that. But that was like the beginning of the dementia for me, because throughout the trip, I would like lose a cord or lose something and be like, Mindy, where I think I left it at the house. I just pretty much, because I left my license, I felt like the whole rest of the trip I was forgetting
You're
everything.
screwed. Sorry.
Yeah, pretty
Turn
much.
around.
Dementia
Back
was in
home.
full force. She's like, just stay home and don't hurt yourself. But yeah, so we made it. We got to Washington, D.C., and the plane was delayed 4 hours. And, it was fine. I got to eat a Reuben sandwich. That was so good. I got to drink some of Mark's favorite Dunkin' Donuts iced coffee. But I was very disappointed.
Oh no!
They called me sir. They did not call me Shug. They did not call me Cherry Blossom. They did not call me Sweetie Pie Honey Bunch.
Listen, you're not in. Where were you?
I was in Dulles. There was
You're a little too far north for that,
it was,
unfortunately.
yeah, he was not very sweet on me. So
You're not in Kansas anymore.
so from there, we finally got to Mount Vernon, Ohio at like 1 in the morning, 1:30 in the morning, and then slept till the next day about 10 a.m. and I ate a big bowl of Lucky Charms and ate a breakfast burrito. And then from there, I've just been hanging out in the U.S. That finally got here and got to see some cool cats face to face, and lots of cool cats. Those that aren't even pictured. So that's pretty much my update.
So
What's
I
been
got,
going on?
I got a serious question. So
I doubt it.
you can use it is actually a serious
All
question.
right, let's hear it.
You're going to be surprised.
I figured when I was going to be
So
sarcastic.
you can use your Brazilian license for 3 months.
Yeah.
So what's the difference in is there any difference in driving tests from what you
Oh,
experienced?
in Brazil?
Yeah, what's the difference?
Oh, let me tell you about.
I picture
I'm
Brazil
glad you
being like a
asked.
rally course.
They just slap you in like go, like, and they start throwing like mannequins at your car, like they're all on fire and bloody and stuff.
That's the best driving test.
Actually,
Sounds awesome.
I was able to get my American driver's license translated about 6-7 years ago, so I didn't have to take the test in Portuguese. But they have an additional test that they call the psychology test, and it's consisted of 3 different tests. One of them is they give you a piece of paper and they time you. They say for the next 30 seconds, just make lines, and they have to all look the same. And you just make lines for 30 seconds, and they say stop. And they say now count the lines, and then write how many lines you made. Then draw a line and do it again. And you do this for 20 minutes.
35 years.
35 years, they're like, stop, count. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. The next one is,
There's a punchline.
Yeah, right.
I don't know if there is a punchline, you can make it up
leads
because
to
I
a
don't know.
Facebook meme.
And then the next test was you had to, you took a page and you had patterns like horse head, horse legs, and then you had to pick which one was the completion of the pattern. like
Cat
the full horse.
meow.
Yeah, cat meow. So it'd have like a square, triangle, circle, and then like what's the last object. It was so weird.
So like preschool stuff. So you
Yeah.
you graduated with James today.
I did. They gave me a hat and they're like, yeah,
You'll love this.
that's pretty much it.
I'm seeing this Sheldor says no grass and just don't hit the kids. Arctic Warlock says he's making up all of this. We need video of this.
Yeah.
That does sound made up.
As Bangelman silently said, he said, I would have lost my mind with that amount of travel. In total, we traveled about 28 hours. And it was bad.
That's a
Like,
lot.
it was a lot,
man.
man. Long
That's
time.
a lot.
Yeah, Corey Smith, loving that Reuben sandwich. It's one of my favorites for sure. So thank you for that serious question, Ronnie.
It's a real question.
It was a real question.
I doubt it. I doubt it.
You picked the wrong time to doubt.
I'm not making all this up as you suggested. So with that, I pass the torch. Wait,
to the left.
What?
I pass the speaking hammer to you, Patrick. Go
Oh, I don't know what to do with this.
Stage fright.
with all the power.
Crap.
Oh,
I
you're
don't
not
know.
worthy.
I don't know.
Sad day.
I don't know. I can't pick it up.
You're worthy.
Yeah. So biggest thing of note for this past week is my daughter and I went to Jungle Gyms this past weekend. And for those who aren't familiar with Jungle Gyms is a place where it's an international market, and you can buy stuff from all parts of the world, whether it be Great Britain, you can buy from Australia, Brazil, China, Japan, things like that. So my daughter and I, we went there, and we were there for like 2 hours, and those 2 hours were you're worthy.
I didn't know that made you worthy too. You can slap it over.
I don't know.
Sleep sack. Jonathan, you see a sleep sack?
One moment while we find the sleep sack that Mel is looking for.
I do not see anything over here.
It's a thing. Just say sleep sack. It'll show up.
It's a blanket.
Sleep sack, anyone seen it?
Sleep sack?
Sleep sack.
Nope, not down here.
Yeah, that's kind of.
Sorry.
You like hanging from the ceiling?
So yeah, Clark sleeps with a sleep sack, and it's like if you've ever had a infant, whatever, they sleep in like a bag, bean bag, sleeping bag kind of thing, where you zip it all the way up, and it makes them feel like close, comforted kind of thing.
Oh yeah.
And he's slept with it. It's like his blanket now, and so he sleeps with it. And
Linus.
yeah, it's his blanket. It's his blanket. It's his Linus thing. So yeah. So anyways, but yeah. So back to Jungle Gyms. So that Jungle Gyms is an international market, and the great thing about that is you can buy stuff from all over the world. And so my daughter and I, we went there, and we wanted to buy some weird stuff. And
Define weird.
So we bought quail eggs.
Okay.
So
I saw that in your refrigerator when I was rating it.
Yes. Nice. So they're very small eggs. You have to open them up with like a very small knife, kind of thing.
Yeah.
We bought caviar. So we tried caviar for the first time. We felt like we were nearly expensive. It's like $4.50. I'm like, I don't know if like if caviar is now like a thing. Like you can buy.
Wait a minute, are you getting paid for this?
What?
You can afford caviar now and stuff?
Move on. So we had caviar. We had fish dumplings. We had squid. We had squid in its own ink.
How is that? That's gross.
And Claire, she will try anything.
That's like my daughter.
It's like she's been trained to the fact that like she's not sure if she's gonna like something, so she'll try it. So we had squid. What else do we have? We had some very weird things. Oh man, what else do we have? We bought some pumpkin seed crackers. We had kimchi, which is like a spicy cabbage that you buy and get in a jar. We had some random things.
Did you guys buy anything that sounded good by any chance?
Yeah.
She bought a lollipop. That lollipop was in the middle of it was ants.
Yep.
So yeah,
me too, ants.
Yeah. So she was licking it, and she got to the point where one of the ants' head was like poking out, and she's like, "I'm done with this. Do you want the rest of it?" No, I don't want this.
Yum.
But yeah, that the Jungle Gyms is fun, and they have stuff like we didn't buy some of the stuff. Like one of them was over in the refrigerator section. There was all kinds of eggs. And we bought the quail eggs. There was normal eggs, but then there was an ostrich. And the ostrich egg was, I don't know,
like you could buy it and eat it.
Like
no, they're giant,
15, 20 times bigger than normal egg. And she was like, "Look how big this egg is." I'm like, "Oh, that's huge." So I was like, moving on, and she's like, "Hey, it's $70." And I look over, I do like one of those double takes. I'm like, "What?" And she's like, she was about to pick it up.
Oh, no.
And they're like, "You don't pick that up. We're not dropping this egg." So I'm like, $70 for an ostrich egg. I'm like, that's unbelievable. When you can get like a 12-pack of eggs for $1.
Can you cook an ostrich egg? Just like a regular egg?
I don't know what it is.
Pan? Like to fry that baby?
I don't know, but I wasn't about to spend
Pretty sure you got to use a
$70
wok
on
or
it.
something.
We could have done that live on the show.
Yeah.
Making an ostrich egg?
Yeah.
Wait, did you say making an ostrich egg? I don't know if that's what.
I was thinking,
wait a second.
I was thinking about just frying it.
Oh, yeah, right.
Oh,
Keep it real.
okay. Yeah, I mean, like maybe in episode 141.
141.
Yeah, we'll do that.
Cooking an ostrich egg. That sounds good.
$70 on it.
I'll keep us to it.
Yes. Somebody write that down. That's a promise.
Oh man, but yeah, I mean, like that was the big thing. I mean, going to Jungle Gyms is always fun because they have stuff from all over the world. We saw some pigs like heads. I don't know if you ever bought a pig head before. I don't know how to eat that stuff.
I mean, I know I live in the jungle, but I don't.
I don't know. How to,
I don't.
where do I
I don't buy
cut?
pig heads.
Where do I cut? You know, it's like.
But
But
eat the head of the pig?
I have no idea. We didn't buy it. I wasn't about to buy it.
You buy it for like your walls?
How-
Like
How much
deer?
was the head?
It was like the eyes and everything. We didn't see what the price
Didn't
was.
price it.
We looked at it and then we're like, that's gross. And we walked on. You know,
Yeah.
moving on. Yeah, like,
I get grossed out by like pickled pig's feet. I feel like a pig's head would be absolutely
so
disgusting.
what does pickled mean? Because we were there's as always pickled
Pigs have
eggs.
kind of like hooves.
Hooves? Pickled hooves?
Well,
That's
no,
what it is,
there's I think it's the meat like around is they put it in a jar and it's usually like I think it's like vinegar and other sorts of stuff and they let it sit. That's basically pickled.
I learn something every time we do the show.
Something
I
to-
could be completely wrong about that, and we have the room in the Discord for that. If you want to write, tell me I'm wrong.
write it in.
Or write it in
Wrong.
the chat. That's fine because I'm sure I'm probably
Yeah.
wrong.
You said it confident.
I tried to be an authoritarian on the matter.
As
Yeah.
Arctic Warlock says. Fair enough.
Fair enough, indeed.
But yeah, that's pretty much what I did. I mean, work's been crazy, and that's odds. We've had vacation Bible school this
Yeah.
week.
Nice.
My daughters went.
My daughter has been going since Sunday, and tonight was bring a friend night, and so happens Natasha was here.
Yep.
And they're both the same age, so they went to vacation Bible school together. So that was cool.
Yep.
James was here, so yeah, it's been a pretty good week so far.
Are your sons also the same age?
How old is James?
Yeah, he's
close,
6.
right?
He's 6. Clark will be 5 next month.
So I think they're
So
like
very
a year and a
close.
half.
Yeah,
Year and a
very,
half off.
very close.
Only 2 days off with our daughters.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's wild.
Craziness.
So yeah. So Natasha is spending the night tonight.
Yep.
So that's pretty cool. We had mac and cheese, which we were looking forward
Unicorn mac and
to.
cheese.
Unicorn mac and cheese.
Not as
which
colorful
is
as I
good.
thought it would be, but
I'm sorry.
what are you gonna do?
I'm sorry. We had
Tasted good.
pink and blue and purple icing and everything to put on the mac and
Cut.
cheese.
Yeah.
That's the way you want it. But yeah, that was pretty much my week. Ronnie,
I'm up.
tell me something good. Good.
Well, I'm going to have a moment of complete honesty here.
Please do.
I am not prepared at all for this.
Fantastic.
Which
Par
is
for the course.
not abnormal, but I'm less prepared for this show because I thought we were just going to take questions. So my week consisted of volleyball, as it normally would.
Shocking.
I think you guys might get to experience that this week, actually.
We will.
That's pretty sweet. We'll post some videos or something.
Patrick's ringing the pom poms.
Yeah, absolutely. Hopefully you guys have signs and everything. So I played volleyball. I think the one
over.
I think the one thing that I did of note, I was talking about it on Discord a little bit. Is I started,
Beckerman said he sucks. Don't get excited.
honestly, that's fair enough.
You guys feel that that's the wind leaving his sails?
Yeah.
Nobody knew until now. The one thing I did of note is I started watching a new TV show.
Oh.
He said TV show.
So what I
Not a
started,
big movie.
yeah, what I did was all the movies that I need to watch, completely disregarded all those and started a new show, which is called Firefly.
Oh, yes.
That's a
Yes.
good choice.
Yes.
Cult classic.
Yes, I was recommended on this show, and I started watching it. I really like it. I guess you guys have all seen it.
Actually,
Yeah,
I've seen
one
it.
I've
season.
only heard
One
one
season.
season. It's
One
very
season,
easy
which
to
is
get through.
totally like, oh, I'll commit to that. One
Yeah.
season. And I think I'm through 5 episodes now, and I really like it. Anything with a combination of like space and it's like space cowboys, kind of.
Basically,
It's
yeah.
like a Western space show.
Cowboy Bebop.
Is awesome. It's
No.
awesome. I like the
No,
story.
not at all. Not even close.
I like the story. I like the sci-fi portion of it. Like it's just really cool. And like the comedy in the show is not like they don't really force it. It's very like I don't know, like nonchalant comedy, like all the stuff that they say in it. So I'm about 5 episodes into that. I actually don't know how many seasons there or how many episodes there are, but I really like it. I was talking to I think Travis Popsicle on Discord about it or whatever, and he had mentioned there was a movie, and I'd heard that there was a movie, so I'm gonna try to get through that full season before I watch the movie. Obviously, all that's gonna take precedent before all the stuff that I'm actually supposed to do.
Yeah.
But I also heard it was ended really early, so like
Yeah.
a lot of people really liked it, and they didn't have any more seasons. So, but yeah, it's really really good. I've kind of been binging it a little bit over the past couple of days, but honestly, for my week, that's about it. Last week I did a bunch of like really adult stuff in my house. I like pressure washed my deck and like pressure washed the house and like
Sounds awesome.
re-edged my garden, like all this stuff.
Alan?
Yeah, like all this horrible stuff that nobody really likes to do. But
You did it.
But no, yeah, I just took a week off and decided to get it all done, like clean gutters and everything. Like it was terrible. The hot tub broke again.
It
was awesome.
Actually,
Jonathan strikes again.
it currently
I did right, and then I hit space. It changed it on.
Sorry, Jonathan. Low hanging fruit. I'm sorry.
No, no, we didn't say anything to make it worse.
So currently the hot tub does work. One of the things I did last week was actually completely scrub the whole thing down, and it was well overdue. So
Nice.
it is up and running and in good order and clean and presentable.
So what you're saying is, for the 35th week in a row, you've not watched Superman. That's all I heard over the past 5 minutes.
Well, I'm going to answer the question. The question is, what are you talking about?
Fair enough.
Oh, goodness.
Ronnie, I think for your punishment, you need to go sit in the corner. Speaking of corners, it's time for GMG, Community Cornery, Twitch style, baby. Woo! Hey, where's the transition music? Come on. There you go.
The forever transition.
You're totally not ready for my transition.
Improv up here.
Yeah. So we're doing it live, as we've already talked about, and we are dedicating this topic to you, and you, and you, and you. There it is. Better late than never. That's right, folks. We're doing it live from Twitch, and so we are accepting all questions, comments, concerns. You may bring those up and finally address all those things before us, and we will share them. But we already have some questions prepared from the community that we are going to share while people on the Twitch channel can post questions. Whatever you want to know, whatever you want to talk about, lay it on us. So VP Barnaby Butters on the Discord said, we want to hear the tale of how it all started. He came up to whom? That would be who came up to whom? Who was backpacking on Western Europe on Mount Tibidabo?
Oh, good reference.
You're making this much more romantic than it actually is. But have
I didn't catch that reference. I don't know what that is.
you not watched Friends?
I've seen some episodes.
Go to the corner with Rob right now. Right now.
I gotta go too because I didn't get it either.
Oh, come on.
Jeez.
I'm there. I got you.
Okay.
I got you.
All right.
I read it
So how did we come up with this?
Yeah, like they want to know. I mean, we haven't told the story since probably. I don't know if we've ever talked about it on our story or our podcast. We only talked about it on the Devil Cox Experience, right? Have we talked about it on
we might not
the
have
show?
the
I don't
show.
remember now. If we had talked about it, it's been a while ago, so
Yeah,
we
so
can refresh those who don't know.
I don't know. It was probably May 2017.
I just saw this question.
Yeah.
Just read Discord. with
Honestly,
a
it's
phone in
really
my-
small. I can barely see it from
The
here.
secret is I'm nearsighted, and I screen grabbed it to my Pages app, and I
Goodness.
put it there.
Stop reading
That's
your
where it is.
Discord on Landscape.
Lucas is so
Is that
prepared.
even possible?
You can make me.
Hold on. Let me.
So what?
I'm gonna,
He's so prepared.
I'm gonna pull up. I'm gonna pull up Discord on Landscape.
Look at it.
It doesn't work.
I could read that on Landscape.
Well, he
It
has
doesn't
a,
work.
It's a screenshot. So
Yeah,
it's
but
a
why is a
screen grab.
screenshot? How did you screenshot it in weird landscape, not landscape? Weird landscape.
This is how technology works.
Oh, just turn your phone around so it's bigger.
What was the question again?
No, it's,
how
I
did
guess it
this
would
whole
be
thing
bigger.
get started?
No, you got it.
no, it's broken just upside down.
Oh, there you go.
It's
See,
even
there you go.
Yeah, but then it cuts off the words on the side here. So no, just leave me alone.
For the people
You
who know,
guys
Lucas
talk about it.
prepares a novel for every show.
That is correct. That's usually why it lasts 2 hours
The most prepared person
on the planet.
is Lucas.
All right. So,
So yeah,
start with YouTube.
It
'cause
was,
that's where it really started.
I don't know, it might have been 2-3 years ago that Ronnie and I had started talking about doing a podcast. And we really didn't know what we wanted to do the podcast about. We were both from, Cincinnati. So we were talking about doing a Cincinnati Reds podcast, Cincinnati Bengals podcast.
Riveting.
You know,
You
like,
could have Bengal Man on it if you would have had
yeah, we could,
Bengals podcast.
we didn't know if we wanted to talk about sports only, news. We even talked about talking about the minor leagues of the Cincinnati Reds.
I'm
And
glad we rescued them. Podcast.
I mean, because when we were talking about it, nobody was doing this
Yeah.
podcast,
Super narrow demographic.
And one of the things that when you're doing a podcast is, like, what are people not doing?
Yeah.
Kind of thing.
True.
So
So they're not talking about minor leagues.
yeah, they're not.
Looking forward to
So
that market.
for sure.
We're here at the middle school baseball.
This guy in 2029 sounds.
5 tool players.
And we had talked about it off and on for about 6 months to a year, and nothing ever came of it. And it was about April of 2017, around there, and we had decided we wanted to start a podcast pretty much about whatever we wanted. It was going to be a topical podcast. And so we had brought in a couple other people. So it was Ronnie and I and 2 other people. And it was Chris, who has done the logo for our podcast, and one of his other rugby players. And we had talked about it for, I don't know, maybe 3 months or something like that.
We had a meeting.
We had a meeting.
Meeting.
Yeah, we had a
Very
meeting.
official.
Hey, tell them where the meeting was.
Meeting was at Hooters.
That's the best thing about it. I was like Hooters. Funny story. Do you know where my bachelor party was?
Not Hooters.
My best friend Tom. He totally, like, at the last minute was like, "Oh, I forgot to plan your bachelor party. Want to go to Hooters?" I'm like,
I forgot.
I guess.
You're getting married.
What an afterthought of afterthoughts.
Yes. Needless to say, it was magical.
Yeah, so we started talking, and it kind of fell through the cracks. And we
You're at
we
Hooters.
like
You don't found anything on Hooters.
Chris's buddy. He had a mixer. He had all the audio. He was talking about video, and it sounded really, really good. But everyone just had life going on, and we didn't end up following through with that. And then it was Ronnie and I was still talking about doing a podcast. We still wanted to do it. And you had mentioned it was probably, was it May of
April, May of 2017.
2017? So it was just a little bit after that. And you're like, hey, I want to do a podcast. And I immediately was like, hey, are you serious? Do you want to do a podcast? And you're like, what?
Wait, what?
And we
Yeah,
had
like,
no,
so I threw it out there. I remember throwing it out there. And I was just like, it's something like I wanted to do, but I really didn't know what went into it and all the logistics. And
nobody. We still.
I just
we
wanted
still
to, join in, connect with people, and do something maybe a little different to hit on different topics and those kind of things. And then when you called me on it, I was just like, I mean, yeah, I'm serious,
Yeah.
kind of.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So we had talked a bit about it, and so I was like, okay, I'm gonna create the GMG podcast handle.
Yeah, that was really fast.
It was
like,
really quick.
We were like talking
And
about let's
we
start a podcast.
we had no idea what the podcast was going to be called, but with Twitter, like you got to get the handle real quick.
Yeah.
You never know what it's going to be. So I grabbed it. Like one of the things I do whenever I see people is I say good morning. Whenever it's if it's evening, morning, afternoon, or night, I morning, and let's just be the good morning guys.
He used to do that. He used to do that around the office. So me and Pat worked in the same department. He was actually the one that trained me in the department that I'm in now. And he would come up, regardless of what time it was during the day. It could have been 4 p.m. And he'd walk up and he would say, "Good morning." And I was like, and at first, like if you're like, "Good morning," like,
What's wrong with you?
But the funnier part was when he did it to other people. I was watching. It was hilarious. They're like, "Wait a minute."
The best part was when I get a good morning back and they realize what they just said. I'm like, yes, gotcha. But yeah, so we I was like, oh, well, let's just get the GMG podcast, Good Morning Guys podcast, whatever. And then we had talked, and I was like, well, Ronnie, me and you. I was like, we need a fourth guy. We need a fourth guy, and when in the Married to the Games Discord and the community, Mark was always the guy who had the knowledge. He would just like drop knowledge on everyone. I was like, this guy, I want him on our podcast. And I just dropped a line, and he was in. So we decided, okay, we got a 4-man podcast. It was in early summer, midsummer, and you had a retreat or something. You were going to be gone for 2 months, doing like some camping trip or whatever.
Camping trip.
Yeah,
close enough.
Whatever it was, you're going to be away. You're not going to be.
It's like a jungle something.
It was.
No, it was for like a week. I was in the Amazon.
Yeah, so you were gone. You're like, okay, when I get back, it's going to be okay. I'm going to be back in September. We'll start it around then. We'll talk about more about it. And so it was one afternoon during lunchtime. We all got on Google Hangouts.
Rest in peace. Google Hangouts.
And we just started talking.
Yep. Talking about rice, actually.
Rice, yeah. White rice, brown rice, tan rice.
Yep.
And
rice.
we immediately knew that it was gonna work.
That'll be a topic someday. Still working out the logistics of the rice topics. Good morning for rice.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, like, and then after that, we were like, okay, one night, let's just test it, see how our audio works, see how all this works, and then after that, we'll start the podcast.
Yep.
And that night was our first podcast.
September.
Yeah, it was a test, and it actually ended up being episode 1.
Yep. Introductions.
Yeah.
So the funny thing about all of this is I knew, like Pat